Hey guys, it's Jansen here with my boy Jeff Bezos. We've just been filming some ads, so we've been a little busy to film a proper tutorial video this week. But what I wanted to do instead is upload a student interview that I did with a 10K club member. Now, this interview I would highly encourage you guys to watch because there's no filtering. I don't just talk about the highs, we also talk about my students' lows. And the interview was actually done live in front of all of my other students. So they were able to submit their own questions live. So there was no censoring or just kind of talking about the good things. I've talked about the entire picture. Now, the guy that I interview is called Simon, and he is a top bloke. His energy and enthusiasm and positivity is really infectious. So if you're kind of struggling with motivation or you just need something to give you a kick at the backside, I would highly encourage you to watch it. It's a brilliant interview and I really hope that you'll learn something from it. So I hope you enjoy this one, guys, and I'll see you next week without my boy Jeff. So here we are, guys. Now it is showtime. So we are now going to be doing the interview with a student, academy member, Simon Parker. So Simon is in the 10K club. He's in the 10K club and he's very, very close. He's a gnats off actually getting to the 100K club. Now, I'm just going to figure out how to actually bring him in. And then he can properly introduce himself. Hey, Simon.
There we go. Hey,
here we
going?
go. Loud and clear. Awesome.
Excellent.
So welcome to the show, Simon. Great to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I know. As I mentioned earlier, I spoke with Simon on the phone and we were both buzzing to basically just share his story, help you guys give motivation and just, you know, get you pumped, because Simon, to say he smashed it, understatement. He's done incredibly well. I've known Simon for probably about 18 months now. So we're basically, you know, life partners in the Amazon FBA world. So Simon, do you want to just basically give the guys maybe a bit of background in terms of who you are, how you came across Amazon FBA, and like just your journey?
Absolutely. So by trade, I'm actually a gas engineer and I'm a plumber, and I've been like self-employed for just over 5 years now. And I was just kind of getting to a point where I thought, you know, the world's changing, everything's kind of going online. And for me personally, like, you know, 18 months ago, sort of 2 years, you know, I'm kind of like a little bit far behind when it comes to technology, because I was like, I didn't even really know how to use a laptop. I went out there and bought like a Mac, and I got home and I was like, how do I even work this thing? But like anything that I, you know, get involved in, I just say to myself, I'm going to just get fully immersed and, you know, let's just sort of like tackle this head on. So I kind of like mastered how to use a laptop, getting like into YouTube. And as you do, you're scrolling through YouTube and, you know, you've got all your videos that you're going through. Then in the like right hand corner, it says like suggested videos, and a little pop-up came up about affiliate marketing. And I was like, right, okay, well, that sounds interesting. Let's click on that. And as you do, you know, you sort of like click on a few videos and, you know, you get like more suggestions and so on. And I thought, right, okay, there's definitely a way I can make some money like online. And I was like, right, okay. So I just kind of like followed the links, tried a few more. And then literally your video or one of your videos came up and it was about Amazon FBA. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. I know what Amazon is, but I don't know what Amazon FBA is. So again, I've clicked on that link and I've watched your video and I was like, right, okay, this is like really interesting. And that's how it started. I just sort of went, right, I'm going to see what Amazon FBA is about. And it sounded interesting. It was like a bit of a side hustle. I could run it alongside my original job. And, you know, being the sort of business-minded guy that I am, I thought, right, I can do this all on my own, which of course I couldn't. And I think one of the hardest things for me was like asking for help. And I think that's probably been the best thing. And that's why I obviously got in touch and I just said, look, dude, I think I need some help here. And, you know, can you help me out? And the rest is kind of history at the moment, you know. So that's pretty much where we got started from.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't actually realize it was through YouTube. So it's great to hear that the YouTube algorithm is working in my favor. But yeah, no, I actually still remember that conversation where you messaged me and we kind of, you know, just had a bit of a chat. And then you said, yeah, I'm like ready to take this on. So it's been amazing for me, I guess, because I've seen your progression and, you know, to kind of see you from last year where you didn't really even have open your laptop often. You didn't use Microsoft Excel. You know, you
No,
certainly wasn't doing things like profitability analysis and things like this. So it's been
absolutely.
awesome to see you develop into like this businessman that's got so many like different skills, which is not only going to help you just with Amazon FBA, but you know, help you more broadly as well.
Oh,
It's like
definitely.
so rewarding. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, so just in terms of your Amazon business, then, do you want to kind of just walk the guys through the brands, like how many brands you've got or products, and I guess the timeline would be helpful because I know quite, you know, one of the biggest questions that I get from students or from prospective students is how quickly can I start selling, and you know, am I going to be able to sell before Christmas and all things like that. And I think it would be really helpful for you now to talk through your journey and to make people realize that what you've
Mhm.
created here is a real long-term business. And you know, you may have missed one Christmas previously, but you know, I think you got last Christmas, didn't you? And then you're
I
going to
did,
have
yeah, which
Christmas.
was really good.
So yeah, let's
Yeah.
hear
So basically, I was doing like the product research and didn't really know like where to go in terms of what sort of like avenue to go down. And that's when obviously the course side of it came in really like sort of super handy. And I was looking for products and trying to find a niche that would, you know, really work well for me. And I'll be honest, initially I found it kind of difficult because I didn't really know which avenue to go down, which niche to try and find. And it turned out in the end, the products that I started selling was kind of staring me in the face the whole time, which was really, really funny because
yeah,
it was based in my office. And, you know, as you do, you put your arms behind the back of your head, you're getting frustrated a little bit and you think, you know, I'm never going to be able to do this. And then literally all of a sudden, I started doing some research on like they say this product that I found in my office, and I got in touch with the suppliers, you know, in China via Alibaba, and I thought, how can I improve the product and you know make it a little bit better, sort of like you know maybe tweak it a little bit, and you know back and forth with you know emails to suppliers, and we got to a point where they said, right, we're ready. We've got your branding set up and, you know, your logo's ready and everything was all absolutely perfect. And the major mistake that I did make, which I've learned from obviously, you know, since then was I hadn't created my listing. And
oh,
I went
a
to,
nice
yeah,
textbook.
absolutely, honestly, like my Amazon journey has been like roller coaster up and down. And this was like one of the major setbacks, like right from the beginning. So this is, I think, quite important for like a lot of other people because if I was to kind of like give up, then it would have been, you know, like a real sort of negative, and that's not what I'm all about. I'm like to sort of
Yeah,
say, right, let's see if we can get pushed through this. So basically, I've created my listing and they've said, you know, you need approval, we need invoices, we need like CE
yeah,
certificates, pictures of the packaging, etc., etc. And you know, it took me, I would say, probably around about 2.5 to 3 months to fully get you know granted access into this particular category. And finally, when I did get granted access, my supplier turned around and said, well, we've given you a price to sort of send all these goods to Amazon, and now you want them to come to your address. So there was like a whole bunch of, you know, setbacks there. But I was really persistent. I was like, I'm not going to let this one little thing bother me. I'm going to just keep pushing forward. And basically, yeah, I ended up launching my first product, and I was like totally stoked that it got onto Amazon, and I've
yeah.
clicked on there. There's my product, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, you know. So
Yeah, I think one thing that kind of really stands out about you from just what's kind of come out about you with our conversations is that you are so positive and you've got fantastic mindset and you know just stamina. Because I think we're going to talk about this in a bit of detail later on. I
sure.
know you've been through, as you say, a bit of a roller coaster, but you know whenever you've had a low, it's been amazing to see how positive you've been. And I think
Yeah,
that you know really helped you to get to where you are today. And I
without a
think you
doubt.
know, you've
Yeah.
probably dealt with the worst of what Amazon can give you.
I,
To be
I think I've
honest,
had pretty much I think I've had like a lot of like the worst type of situations that you could think of. I've had, people trying to get my listing taken down. I've had
Yeah.
I've had like, I'm sure I've had Chinese sort of like people try to jump on my listing. I'm not knocking Chinese people, of course. Obviously, it's just you do tend to find that it is unfortunately them
You have to
situations.
say international sellers, Simon. I don't want to be demonetized on YouTube.
Sorry. Yeah, of course.
Okay,
International
but
sellers.
let's just kind of rewind a bit
Okay.
before we kind of talk about the highs and the lows, because I think it is important to give everyone
Sure.
watching this the full picture. I don't want to just be like, yeah, Simon's done this and he's got his Lambo on pre-order, blah blah blah. We want to, tell it exactly how it is. But before we do that, when you found your product, so your mindset, did you kind of think, do you know what, this is a 10 out of 10 product, it's going to be 100% successful, Simon, my man, you've done it? Or were you kind of, what was your mindset with regards to that?
Well, I think like anything that I do, I kind of think to myself, I've got to do like a risk assessment. I've got to make sure that this product is going to sell well, have a differentiated, which was like a big key. And how can I stand out? And basically, there wasn't a great deal of sellers selling this product, but I just needed to sort of say, I need to stand out, and that was key for me. And keeping my sort of mind in that position of, let's really kind of like push through. If I do get any sort of like, bumps in the road, we're just going to sort of deal with them like every sort of step along the way. And it was just a case of taking everything as it comes, because I think you can get overwhelmed sometimes. And I think for me personally, I break things down in terms of like sort of time, and I think to myself, look, let's just do this like bit by bit, and we'll get to where we want to be. Because you generally find, like, if you do get stressed, you kind of get all cloudy in the head, and you sort of think to yourself, I'm not going to do this, I want to throw in a towel. But what I found is, when you're going to get like to a breakthrough, if you will, you're almost like on the edge of the hill, and it's when you just kind of just go over that peak that you've actually got to where you want it to be. And that's what I found with me, especially with Amazon, especially this like product launch. It's just a case of keep going, because if you do give up, you'll kick yourself. And there's so many times that I wanted to give up and think, yeah, this isn't for me, maybe I'm just not supposed to be doing this. But what I found is, if I kept going and going, which I did do, I eventually got to where I wanted to be. And my product was selling so well,
I mean, I think one thing that you just mentioned at the beginning was about the risk assessment, and kind of that's what I wanted to highlight to people watching, that I've mentioned this time and time again, Simon, as well, that there's literally no such thing as a perfect product, or the perfect product is going to be so hard to find that you are going to be looking until 2050 or whatever. So I think the risk assessment point is like absolutely spot on. It's about finding a product that you are confident about, that you've done your diligence on, and that you're like, do you know what, I can give this a real good go. And we're entrepreneurs, right? We're business people. There's always going to be an element of risk. Like, if I opened, imagine, so for example, we've got coronavirus, the lockdown at the moment. There's a local coffee shop down the road from me. He opened the week before lockdown, right? Just something you could no business plan or whatever could predict that, and it's happened. And he's just like, that's just a risk of business. Luckily, I've managed to think of other ways to combat it. But that is what it's about. It's about understanding the risk and mitigating it, managing it, just doing your homework. And, if things do go wrong, then there's always going to be something that you can do to, lessen the damage or whatever. I thought that was spot on what you said there, Simon. So let's talk about, I want to talk about the highlights. So we're going to talk about a top moment for Simon. And we did have a phone call earlier, and I managed to do some reading back of, I'm just going to try and share the right screen. I managed to scroll back thousands and thousands of messages on Facebook. Can you guys can see that yet? So here we go. Oops, wrong one. So this was in July last year, and Simon was selling a product, and he was, I think the peak there that you can see was on Prime Day. and Simon can talk to you about kind of what he did like there, and you know, the feeling he had. He said to me earlier he was in bed when he was messaging me, just buzzing. This is the message that you sent me at the end of the month, and mate, you've done 13 grand. And I remember I was in Portugal in holiday at the time, and I was like, Jesus, man, this guy's catching up with me. He's gonna probably come out with his own mentorship program. But yeah, I was so happy for you here. So do you want to just talk to the guys maybe about the thoughts that were running through your head, or just kind of about this month in general? Because surely this would have been the thing for you.
Oh, it was absolutely crazy. I mean, at one point I got the sort of PPC absolutely perfect, and then I was like ranking organically as well, which was even better. And I finally got onto page 1, and I think when you get onto page 1, your sales just rocket. It's unbelievable. You know, if you're on page 2 or 3 and you're getting good sales, that's amazing, which is where I was at one point. And then I got to page 1, and sales were just coming in left, right, and center. And the cool thing also about the Prime Day is, I think maybe like a month or two previous, Amazon give you the option of having your product to sort of like be highlighted as like a limited time deal, which I think on Amazon you get like a little red box with like a stripe through. And obviously when people on Prime Day, when they see that, your eyes are naturally drawn to something different. And there was quite a few people on there which had this limited time deal, but I wasn't one of them because I actually missed out on having that sort of like, option to sort of opt in. I think I missed it by like a couple of weeks because
I think that was guys though, from what you told me earlier, because I mean, my view is on these Prime days. So there's, I think, 2 of them a year, 2 or 3. So you got Black Friday, and then you've got one in July. Yeah. And in order to get one of these Prime spots, you have to pay. And I think
you do as well. You have to pay.
It's about 150 quid or something.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, as you'll mention in a sec, the traffic on Prime Day is just insane. So it's kind of like you don't really need it. So let's hear about what happened then on the actual day itself.
Yeah, so it's like on Prime Day, and as you do when you've got the mobile app, which I'm sure a lot of these guys in the group have got the app as well. I'm clicking refresh, and I was actually at work for like the most part of the day, and it wasn't until like the evening time where I've kind of like sat down, I'm having my tea, and I'm just like, let's have a little look, see what's going on Amazon, let's see how the sales are getting on. And I've clicked refresh, and I'm like, oh my words, these sales are going through the roof today. I just like the units were just going up and up, and I'm thinking, I'm going to run out of stock. If this like carries on every single day, because obviously you plan, you've got so much stock, and you've got to think it's going to take maybe not like 14 days to make the stock, and then you've got maybe 2 more weeks before the stock comes in again. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have enough money. So what I actually did was I got to a point where I think I hit around about £800, and I thought I'll be a little bit cheeky, and I'm just going to bump the prices up on my 2 products. And I bumped them up by quite a chunk as well, because I thought, one, I can maybe sort of slow down the stock a little bit because I've like completely exceeded my sales for the day. And but then the sales kept coming in as well, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. If every day can be like this, then I've cracked it. I can give up work. But it was incredible. And then it got to, I think, around about midnight, and I'm like buzzing, and I've taken a screenshot. I've sent that to you, and I'm thinking,
you're in bed messaging
he won't mind. He won't mind. I'm sure he's used to this sort of hour.
If it's Amazon FBA, and
exactly. And you were so cool about it as well. You were so cool. You were like, yeah, that's awesome, dude. Keep going. Wait until like Q4 and Christmas, and that was like a real big bust for me. So, I mean, if anyone's like getting into Amazon just now, or you're experienced already, then, wait till Prime Day and wait till Q4.
There's no feeling like it. Yeah, I think it's probably one of my favorite days as well. Just because, absolutely. I mean, I think last year I woke up to go, for work or whatever. It was like 8 a.m. And I thought, I'll have a cheeky look. Normally it's probably like 2 or 3. And I was on 20 at 8 a.m. And I was like, oh, this is going to be insane.
Madness. Absolutely madness, and that's what I was like. Yeah, absolutely.
Traffic's mental.
Oh, it's crazy, and at the end of the day, it's all paid for. It's all free to a degree. You've got all those like millions of people that are clicking on Amazon, and it was absolutely fantastic, and that helped with my ranking as well, which was amazing because all those sales just kind of like skyrocketed, and then that just made a huge impact on everything moving forward as well. So
amazing. And that gave you a real taste of what's to come, and kind of what got you addicted? Because when we were chatting on the phone earlier, you were
Yeah.
like, I'm just addicted to it now. And I'm just, just
Oh,
always looking for different ways.
for me, if I do something, I want to do it properly. And then when you put all the hard work in, and then you start getting these sales, it is like an addiction. It's almost like you really want to get up in the morning and think, right, I'm going to embrace the day. What's going to kind of get thrown my way, and you just sort of tackle it head on and think to yourself, right, let's see what happens when I press refresh. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling.
It is. It is. So, okay. So we've spoken about the highs now. And as I mentioned earlier, I think it's really important that you guys watching have the full picture and that you don't just think it's all plain sailing.
Are we still there, Johnson?
Mate, this is a wicked comment. I can't see who it is, but someone said, is that a Prime Day tattoo? Yes, it is. You have got some Amazon tattoos now, haven't you, Si?
Yeah, they're in discreet places though, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah, mate, you're still frozen at the moment. I mean, it's not the most flattering angle, but okay. There we go. The man is back. Panic over.
We're good.
Okay. We're good. So, as I was saying, it's not all plain sailing. It's not swings and roundabouts. Simon's had brilliant results, but he has put in a hell of a lot of effort up front. And, pardon my French, but he's dealt with a lot of shit, right? We've been dealing with this together. And the amazing thing is, Simon, as I said, has been so positive and he has battled it. So one of the problems that I want Simon to talk about, which is something that you guys definitely need to be aware of, is to do with a mix-up with his supplier and variations. So let's discuss what happens, Si.
Okay, dude. So basically, the second product that I launched was going really, really well. And again, I got ranked. I was getting onto like page 1 and 2, just sort of around about there. And so I reordered like a whole bunch of stock, and I spent, I think, round about £7,000 or £8,000 worth of stock because I was just selling out so quickly. I paid for air shipping as well, which is something I don't always do, but I thought I needed to get them into stock because I didn't want to lose my ranking. And again, everything was going really well. And then for some reason, I was getting a fair amount of returns and I didn't know what it was at first. So I'm like, back then you could like message your contacts, and I was like, saying to customers, what's the issue? And they were saying, well, I ordered black, but I was getting white. And I was like, right, okay, well, maybe there's been a slight mix up there. I'll take care of it, not a problem at all. And I even compensated some customers, just to try and keep them sweet. I just wanted to make sure everything was really good. But then it happened again and again. And then the people that were like messaging me were saying, well, I've been getting this white particular product, and then others were saying I've got black when I ordered white. And I was thinking, right, something's really not good here. Amazon basically sort of like suppressed my listing, and they said, what we're going to do is we're going to actually get some of your stock off the shelves and we're going to find out what's going on with it, and then we'll get back to you. So within this sort of time frame, there's like 6, 7 or 8 days, something like that, where I'm not selling. I'm like on Seller Central. I'm dropping emails. I'm like, look, guys, I really need to get this product back up again. What's going on? And they sent me an email with some pictures attached, and they'd actually opened the box, and true enough, inside it was the white version and the black version. So basically what had happened is my supplier had got half of my stock mixed up and got it the wrong way around. So the barcodes for the white product were like the black barcode, if you will, and vice versa. And customers are thinking, well, I'll have the white version, and they were getting the black. So Amazon said, you've got one of two options. Either we can, kind of chuck out all your products. Well, I was like, well, that's not going to happen.
Wicked. Yeah, sounds good.
And I'm like, yeah, cheers, guys. That ain't going to happen. Yeah. Or we can do like a removal for you, and we're going to charge you per unit, which I think there was around about 2,000 at the time. And so I got charged per unit, and then I had to get them all sent to my property, where I'd actually literally had to rebarcode all of the products and put them, back to as they were. The annoying part about this was the actual box that the products came in as well had a little white dot for the white ones, and obviously the black box didn't have a dot on it. So I was fuming. I got in touch with my supplier. I was like, guys, look, we've had a good relationship so far. Let's not end on a bad note. But it's costing me a small fortune. It's costing me a small fortune to take all these products out of Amazon, and I think I should be compensated at least for the loss of earnings and the cost that it's going to cost me to get them sent to my house, my time to relabel them, and send them back into Amazon, which was literally in the hundreds and hundreds of pounds to do. Thankfully, my supplier were really, really good, and they said to me they will compensate me. Not as much as I'd hoped, but I got a good chunk of compensation off my supplier.
To be honest, you know, when you told me that, I was very surprised. So I think I think it is a good thing that, you know, they were willing to do that. But, you know, again, I thought it was great that you said, right, I'm not going to, you know, give up. I'm going to relabel it myself. I was just told it on.
It was never in my mind. I just thought I've come so far, and you kind of almost like expect hiccups. You just think to yourself, if you go into it with a mindset of everything's going to be fine, you've done this work and everything's going to be good now, then, you know, you're kind of like living under sort of false expectations, really, because with any business and being an entrepreneur, you know, setbacks and things that are going to crop up are just going to happen, and we have to deal with them. And the only way to deal with them is to, you know, keep level-headed, you know, keep calm, and think, right, how are we going to get through this? And, you know, I did swear a little bit. You know, it's all wasn't smiles and happiness throughout the whole process. You know,
you were very polite to me.
Well, I was polite, but, you know, when I have my moments, you know, I do see a little bit of red mist, and I'm sure we all have our moments where we just think, you know, and I think it's because the control wasn't within my sort of realm there. It was all down to other people, and that was the annoying part, because I did my part right, but I got let down. But you know, I made a recovery, and I got back to where I needed to be, and, you know, here we are. So it's like, you know, positivity is well.
Absolute respect for you for how you dealt with that, how you managed to get the supplier to, you know, partially reimburse you, and how you soldiered on. So let's kind of give the guys a bit of info on the latest term of events, because I've seen a couple of people have been asking how many products you've got, how many brands you've got. So you can because at the moment you're getting ready to launch is it your third product?
Third product, yeah.
Third brand. Is it your third brand as well, or second brand?
It's my third brand.
Third brand as well. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you can talk a bit about that, but also what I'm quite interested to hear about, because I don't really have much experience in this. So Simon's going to be the guru for the next few minutes. Is you've been doing something called retail arbitrage, and you've been making a cheeky bit of cash whilst you've been waiting for the manufacturer to do the goods. So let's hear about that.
So I am addicted to sort of like Amazon and selling, and I think it's kind of like I've got that bit of Del Boy in me from many years ago, from when I was in school. Like it's all kind of like just recently kind of hit me again. I was like, this is what I did in school. I like got a little bit of extra dinner money, and I would buy sweets and I would like sell them in school. And, you know, I kind of thought to myself, how can I get myself a nice new pair of trainers? And that's basically how it kind of like got me sort of like fired up again, really. But yeah, the sort of like the retail arbitrage was, again, I was on YouTube, and I thought, how can I make a little bit of extra money while my product's doing what it needs to do in Amazon? And again, I watched a couple of videos, and I thought, this actually sounds really easy. So on the your Seller Central app, you've got you've got a camera in the top right hand corner. So if you click on that, and you can actually scan barcodes of products like, say, you know, Woolworths or Tesco's. And then once you clicked on the scan, it'll actually bring up that product. And then you can say to yourself, right, okay, well, that's how much it's selling for on Amazon. And if they're selling it in Asda for, say, £3 or £4, you just punch that into Amazon, and it actually tells you how much profit you're going to make. And then literally all you would then do is, you could buy one or two of those products, or you could buy the whole shelf, which is what I've been doing just recently.
Trolleys, haven't you? Getting weird.
Oh my God, you get some funny looks. I'm so glad I've got a face mask on walking around these supermarkets, because it's like I'm laughing and they can just see smiley eyes, and I've got my headphones in just like clicking away. But the more you do it, the more you just think, whatever, you know. But you get people sort of second takes when they walk past you. And so what I'll then do is I'll get those products, and then I just resell them and put them into Amazon. So I'll print the barcodes off, create a shipping plan. And then what I'll do is I'll find out what the buy box price is, and then I can either match or obviously go under the most recent price. and then people will then be just like clicking on that listing and buying your products. So
Yeah.
I have been doing pretty well this
I mean,
past month.
it sounds like a great way of kind of making additional extra pocket money. So for me, it's,
Absolutely.
I'm all about this passive side, and I know you are too, but so I know you're kind of using the time that you've got at the moment, the downtime whilst
Yeah,
your product is being
absolutely.
manufactured, to do some more hustling, which is awesome. But let's talk about, so your priority is this third product, your third brand. So what's the story there in terms of how did you like find it? Was there a certain research method you used? And, what's the timeline of when are you going to launch it and smash it again?
Well, literally, again, I was thinking to myself, like during lockdown, how can I add value to people that are staying at home, and they're obviously going to be bored. They've got like furloughs, and their normal job isn't like taking up all their time, so they're at home a lot. So I've literally, during that kind of like coronavirus sort of period that we're going through, certain sales have spiked in certain areas, in certain niches.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to a friend, a female friend of mine, and we're having a chat about a few things. Obviously, I won't disclose the product, and she basically said, "Oh, what about this?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a really good idea." So I've gone onto Amazon, typed in this product, didn't expect to go down this avenue because it's very very niche. But it's actually very lucrative. So I did all the research and used Helium 10 as well, which is obviously a great piece of software which I use all the time. And I got in touch with some suppliers, and I found out that there is only 2 people selling this product on Amazon, and the sales are phenomenal. They're over, I think something like £147,000 a month in revenue. And I've looked into it, and there's about a 45 to 50% profit margin after all the fees in this product. And I've literally got my supplier.
Taking your friend for a drink.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've got in touch with a supplier, and the cool thing is now that I'm a little bit more experienced than I was like 18 months ago. The whole process has been able to sort of speed up by quite a lot, because I know what I'm doing now. I know when I'm getting messed around, and I know what suppliers are taking me seriously. So I've had the first run of the sample made. Wasn't actually very happy with it. There's a few things I needed to tweak. They were happy to do it. They sent me a second sample out for free, which I've now got.
Decent.
And we're like literally like weeks away now from launching this product, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's going to be a success like the others have been as well.
Yeah, I think just with you referencing there about suppliers that are messing you about and stuff, that's something that it's something that I encourage in the course in terms of contacting suppliers. So guys, if you're doing your product research, even if you are not particularly convinced about the product, if you're like, it's okay, honestly, I would be messaging suppliers just so you can get used to it, and so that you can get a feel for like the timeliness of their responses, the level of English, the level of detail, all that good stuff, so that by the time that you find that killer product, you're like, bam, in we go. And as soon as you get a response from someone that's like, we're charging $80 for a sample, you're like, hell no, I know that's not the price. You can kind of work out what is right and what's not. Okay, because we are getting a bit on for time. Let's just finish off questions for me, and then we're going to open up to those watching. If you could go back to right to the very beginning of when you started Amazon FBA journey, or when you were very first looking into it, and kind of give yourself a bit of advice, or just say, Simon, you need to do this differently, or do this instead. Is there anything that like springs to mind?
Yeah, for me, I guess being sort of self-employed, being a plumber, and working for myself, I don't really kind of like to rely on anybody else for advice, and almost stubbornness has kind of got in the way to a degree. And that's why I said I need to like let my guard down and just say, look, I need to ask for help. And I think it's the whole, who do you trust? And that's why I did so much research through so many different avenues to find out who I can talk to and get some trust with. And that's why I got in touch with you, and you helped me out massively. But I think, like anything, ask the questions, and even if they sound like silly questions, they're not. There's always an answer to everything. If you don't know what to do or how to do it, somebody out there has already done it. And
Is my
you
inbox
know,
going to get flooded now?
you what? Sorry, what was
No,
that?
I agree with you there. Absolutely. Ask if
Yeah.
you
So
sure about anything.
that was the thing for me. So very early on, I think, just kind of like, just say to yourself, look, I know it's hard to ask, but just say to yourself, like, look, I need to ask for help here, and that's what I did, and that was like the best thing I did, because once that happened, I got to the answer so much more quicker, and I
Yeah.
thought I should have done this sooner. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big thing for me.
Spot on. Okay, so we've got quite a few questions building up. I'm not sure if you can see them. So I'm going to put them on the screen. If I accidentally miss you guys, or if you just want to retype them now anyway, just so we don't miss it. We are getting a bit on for time, so we might just combine questions for me with Simon, and could even test Simon and see if he knows the answer. So the first one is from Hakan, and he said, how much time did you spend daily on average? So I'm not sure if that is at the beginning when you're doing your product research.
So yeah, in the beginning, I probably spent maybe like 2 hours a day, something like that. That was like the product research side of things.
Yeah.
And then, like anything, you want to spend a good chunk of time getting in touch with your suppliers, getting everything right and buttoned up. And once I'd launched the product, it was literally just almost like, click refresh maybe a few times or a few hundred times a day, depending on how you're feeling. And then it was almost like it was like fully automated, because you just need to keep an eye on your stock levels. So initially, I would say very early on, maybe 3 to 4 hours initially through the day. That was me personally until I found the product. And then when I got the ball rolling, it was literally down to, maybe a couple of hours a week where I would get in touch with suppliers, work out how long things are going to take to come through, So,
like
initially
on PPC, it's kind of like once you've got past that initial like launch phase and everything's kind of settled in, and me today, for example, I haven't even logged in, I haven't even checked my sales actually.
Wow, that's discipline. That is good discipline.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of training. Okay, so I'm not sure if you'll know this off the top of your head, but Diego wants to know if you know roughly the search volume of the product you selected. It's quite a niche question to know off the top of your head, and so
I couldn't really answer that, to be perfectly honest. It's.
But what about when you're doing your research, would you look for a minimum search volume? Because I mean, in the course, I kind of say 1,000 like searches per month. But I mean, what do you personally do?
I literally just thought to myself, how can I solve a problem? So I was like really narrowing my thinking right down to just a few products. I wasn't kind of like going out there looking for all these different products to see where I can try and like fit in. I was like really narrowing my focus, because I think that was the hardest thing for me, because I was getting distracted by so many different products. And I just thought, what can I improve on that's like already in our day-to-day lives? And for me, I finally sort of like got to 3 products, which two of the products I use every day, and then the third one I probably won't be using. It's more for like a particular niche.
I know you do still use your product, your first 2 products, because I always see them.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's that's how it worked out for me anyway. So
yeah, wicked. Okay. Let's have a look. So this is a question from Iran. This is like more of a general question, which I can answer. So I don't want to include my brand name on my photos. Is that okay? Now, in my view, I would say, I mean, it is okay, but you run the risk of someone just nicking your photos and just putting their brand name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you do that, Simon? Did someone copy your photos at any point?
Oh yeah, they did. I had some scams through eBay. So I literally just thought to myself, I'll just see if this is true. I'll see if anyone's actually selling my product on eBay. And I've just typed in my brand name and I've clicked on. I was like, oh, hang about, someone's actually done this. And I've clicked on their listing, and word for word, they've literally just copied and pasted my whole listing on eBay. What can you do? It was one of those situations.
So, I mean, I actually looked into this, obviously. So it's like bots that someone's created. And what it does is it puts every single listing on Amazon onto eBay and automatically increases the price, like 5%. And then what happens is if someone on eBay buys, then this bot automatically just buys off Amazon and drop ships it. I see your point. Some people don't like it because they're like, it could detract from the brand or whatever, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah. But I did find though that the sales went quite sort of high at one point as well, because I think that person was obviously sort of like doing that, and my sales did kind of rocket for like a period, and then they just stopped. So,
Cool. Okay, so this is a question from Sam, who's just launched this week. So I completely get this comment. How did you get your head around pay-per-click advertising?
Okay, initially I didn't. It was like another minefield, and
Yeah,
like everything that I've done with Amazon, yeah, absolutely, it was just like a real head wobble. Um, I think for me anyway, what I did, I just kind of like set a budget, like a really low budget initially, and I just did like a few tests where I said to myself, right, I'm going to have like a 10 or 15 pound budget. I've obviously already done the keyword research, and I targeted, I think, around about like 10 keywords, and I just kind of played around with a few different things. And you get like a suggested bid, which sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But just to try and sort of like see how I could get on with my budget each day. I ran it for like say a few hours through the day, and then I would pause like the campaign,
Oh, were
and
you
I was
pausing it?
finding,
Because I know Sam was asking about that. So were you pausing it in the day
yeah,
and then reactivating it
I
later?
was. Yeah, because my budget was just some days it was like in the morning, like by mid morning, the whole budget was gone, and I was like, oh my words. And then I increased it, and then it went really quickly, and I thought either Amazon are being quite crafty here, or a lot of people are clicking
Yeah,
on and then they're clicking off, and there's no purchasing happening. So I
yeah.
just sort of like learned quite quickly to sort of say, right, to try and make this 10, 15 pounds last, I'll have it on in the morning for a few hours, and then especially of an evening where people have sat down, they're relaxing, that's where most of my sales would come in. But even then, my budget would run out, and but I had a good amount of sales by the evening, so that may be something to try.
I think as well with PPC in general, it's about testing. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm talking to Sam here. Like it is tricky, and it took me a while as
Yeah.
well to get my head around it because there's so many different pieces of data and all stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the key thing is just to make sure your listing is optimized, which I know it is, and just keep testing. And it just one day it just clicks, doesn't it, Simon?
Oh, it does. Yeah, it clicks. Absolutely. Just like that.
Cool. Okay, so we've also got. Okay, yeah, we've got a good question here from Dami. How ruthless were you in choosing a product with margins, reviews? Because I know, some people in the YouTube world say, don't do a product if it's got the niche has got more than 50 reviews or whatnot. So were these things that you took into consideration, or were you just kind of like,
Well,
one
the,
thing?
the interesting thing is when I actually first started getting into my first product, I'd actually began to kind of do my research before I'd took your course. So I was actually at the stage of getting in touch with my suppliers to find out, different things. And then as I've gone through the course, I'm thinking, oh my words, I've actually kind of like may have made a mistake here. I could have maybe took a little bit longer, maybe sort of said to myself, this product isn't going to work. It's a restricted category, which I think also in the course says, try and avoid that. But I was like, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going to be a bit of a rebel.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of go all out. But yeah, that's basically what I did initially. I just sort of said to myself, right, okay, I'm going to go and choose this product. But looking back, the reviews were kind of like, so I would say very sort of like low to medium reviews. There was only around about, I think, 6 or 7 people in this niche as well. So yeah, it was something that kind of like worked out really well. And I think the fact that because it was like a more restricted niche, you had to get more permissions. That's what kind of had like give me an advantage really, because I think
Yeah.
it would have been so much easier to launch a different products, but I kind of just went, I'll choose the hardware and make my life a bit more difficult,
Yeah, you like doing
So
that, don't you? You do
yeah,
like
just a
doing
little bit,
things
just
difficult
a
for
little bit.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we're just over the 7 o'clock mark. So I'd say if you've got questions, just post them now, and then we'll say, after 7:05, we won't submit anymore because we've got quite a few still to get through. So we've got a good question here from Martin about whether you're still working alongside your business.
Yes.
We didn't actually cover this much, but maybe explain to you the guys as well about the long-term goal, because I think this is awesome.
Yeah, so basically, as far as the Amazon FBA goes, that was like a bit of a side hustle. It has taken over a little bit more, especially as time's going on, as I say, with a third product. And the opportunities that come with Amazon, I think, can be, incredibly good. And I'm currently still a plumber. I am still fully self-employed. My work, to a degree, is quite seasonal. I fix a lot of boilers and do a lot of like boiler installations, especially this time of year. The weather gets cold, and
Yeah.
for the next 4 months is crazy busy with my job, and it's also crazy with Amazon as well. But I'm actually trying to get away from the plumbing and gas. I've been doing it for 19 years. and it's at a point now where I'm thinking, it's quite restricting where I work. Like the area that I come from, like the Lake District, it's been my home for like forever. But I've basically kind of like downsized a little bit, and I've actually sort of said to myself, I wanted to try the van life. Now this is where I'm at just right now. I've got my award behind me up on the wall.
Yeah, I've seen that, mate.
And just like, in the background there, which is, that's my inspiration every day. I wake up and I think to myself, that kind of like motivates me to think, right, what can I do today to, kind of make a difference and help accelerate my end game, which is, basically to leave the job and be sort of full-time Amazon. But the cool thing about the laptop lifestyle is I don't have to be in one location anymore. I can be in England, I could be abroad, and my full-time income could literally come from my products, which are going to be sold on Amazon. And that's the cool thing. A lot of people, especially since the coronavirus has hit, are sort of changing the way that they think about things. So many more people are going online now. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are recently, but I think that the traffic through Amazon now is just skyrocketing.
It's up 50%. So before lockdown, it was 1 in 5 purchases were made online, and now it's about 1 in 3. I mean, that's still not that high. It kind of shows you how much growth there is left to go, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Retail purchases are online. So, but yeah, I think your long-term goal of like this van life, and just you were saying earlier, you want to tour through Europe and just kind of,
absolutely
enjoy life whilst just, raking it in. FBA.
I mean, the cool thing is, I mean, I'm single. I'm not really like kind of like tied down or anything. So I have got a lot of freedom anyway. But this has just opened up so many more avenues and so many more doors that I think to myself, well, I can literally be, anywhere in the world. I mean, I went to Scotland a few weeks ago and everything's taken care of. And it was while I was in Scotland, I said to myself, do I really need to go back to work? And it's just kind of made me think, the opportunities are out there. I'm sorry, guys, I'm just kind of like plug my mobile in. I'm just like running low on juice here. Won't be a second. Sorry about this. There we go. We're back. So for me, I was like, I need to kind of like almost triple down now. I've said to myself, the next couple of years, I want to get to a point where I can say, right, I'm done with work and I've got a full-time income off Amazon and probably retail arbitrage as well. So yeah, it's very doable. I think anybody can do it as well. And I think the fact that this current situation is kind of pushing more and more people to, look at an avenue of another sort of stream of income, which is
definitely an opportunity to be seized. Okay, let's go next one. So we've got Taylor, who's asking about your brands. Like, was there a reason that you've done 3 products, 3 brands, as opposed to just kind of focusing on one brand?
I thought like multiple brands would be a good idea because these products are all in like different niches, and I just wanted to kind of like separate the brands and separate the products. Because they're almost like, they're completely the opposite from every other sort of like product I've done, you see. So I wanted to kind of keep things separate. And basically that's why I did that with the 3 brands. Just to kind of keep them individual.
Okay, just because I'm just conscious of time, and I want to ensure everyone manages to ask. So Richard's asking if you sell in the UK. So you are just UK, aren't you? You're not registered.
Just UK, just UK. But I would just say that the retail arbitrage side of things is all over Europe. So that's really cool. And I've noticed just recently a lot of my stock is going. Probably I would say 40-50% is going abroad, and the other 50% is in the UK. Yeah.
Wicked. Okay. What are your thoughts on selling your FBA business after making good sales for a few years so you can then use the proceeds to sell more? So, I mean, I guess what we can kind of take from this question is, what are your long-term goals? Would you sell the business, or do you kind of want to just grow it and nurture it like a little child and just watch it grow?
Well, I suppose, children grow up, don't they? And they leave the nest. So I think like anything, there's going to be a ceiling, and there's going to be a point where I'm going to think, right, I can exit now. And when I do this, then I can then say, right, I've got a nice, bunch of revenue. I could launch another brand, multiple products. But yeah, if it gets to a point where someone makes me an offer that I can't refuse, then
you're going to take it, aren't you, mate, and retire?
I'm going to do it. I think most people would. If you got a really good offer, then I think it would be a wise decision. Yeah.
Okay. This next one, did you trademark your brand straight away?
No, I didn't do it straight away. I wanted to see how many products I could sell. I wanted to see how the sales were going to go, what the revenue was going to be like. And I did leave it a good amount of time before I thought to myself, right, I'm in a position now where I can actually sort of get the trademark underway. And I would probably recommend to at least everybody starting off, just see how your sales go initially.
Yeah.
Monitor things, don't rush in, because it could be like a lot of money spent that might have like a negative impact on your finances.
My advice, mine's similar. I think it depends really on your starting investment. So if you're starting on a bit of a threadbare budget, then as Simon said. But I mean, the benefits of having a trademark are huge. You've got added brand protection, you've got added spots that you can advertise in, you can describe your product more, use more pictures. So there are tons of benefits if you can afford it. Like Simon said, if you've got say 1,000 to 1,500, then me personally, I'd say it's probably better spent off on stock. Something like
Absolutely. That. Definitely.
Okay, so Grant's asking how you deal with competitors or others trying to copy you. So, I mean, it comes down to how much they've copied you. If they've literally taken your description word for word and your pictures, then you can report them, especially if you've got a trademark. So, I mean, it all depends. Fortunately, it doesn't really happen that often. It happened to me once where they literally copied my text and included my brand name in the text as well. So I managed to get them taken down quite quickly, and fingers crossed it won't happen. But fortunately, there are protections. And George, about if this happens with eBay, so we're talking about this automated drop shipping thing. I don't think there is, because I mean, if you think about it, it's a bit like what Simon's actually doing, retail arbitrage, or let's say if you, for example, George, bought, I don't know, a TV for Christmas, and you were like, well, I've already got it. You'd be pretty pissed off if you went to list it on eBay and then Sony went, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to sell that. So, you kind of just have to accept it. And, with the drop shipping thing on eBay, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's like an additional source of sales, right?
Absolutely.
That you don't have to pay for or worry about. So I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, here we go. So James is asking, so this is a bit of a personal question, I guess, but Simon, I mean, you can delve into it as much as you like, but I guess, have you reached your plumbing income with Amazon, like in terms of, have you reached it?
Okay, good question. I've literally taken every bit of profit I've made and reinvested it into stock. So I've not taken a wage. I have not taken anything out of the Amazon business. I have literally said to myself, make this business grow as quick as I can, because the only way to do that is with more income. And the more profit I was making, or I am making, that just gets fired back into Amazon. And the interesting thing about that is, it's like any savings that you normally have. If you kind of like dip into that, to just sort of like treat yourself or do this or do that over time, it's never really like a savings or like a proper business. For me, I want to make it grow, and I'm not relying on this like Amazon business to be like a full-time income. I'm really fortunate that I've done it the way I've done it, and everything's going back into Amazon. And that's why we'll be hopefully having a chat about the 100K award hopefully very soon.
Oh, mate. I mean, I was saying to Simon earlier, I need to be getting my thinking cap on for the 100K award, just to give you guys motivation. So remember, when you get to 10K in sales, you're going to get the little award that Simon's got behind him. I think it is really cool. It's like a bespoke award. And then for the 100K, what I'm thinking is, provided that COVID is pissed off, we're going to be doing events in London or wherever's convenient, I guess, for the majority. And the 100K Club will be going out for dinner, networking event, all on me, of course, just to kind of make you feel, really rewarded. That's something that a previous job of mine used to do. So they used to call it the 100K Club, and they'd take you out for the day, and it was freaking awesome. So I want to take Simon out, and hopefully other guys that have that hit that amazing point of sales. Okay, let's just quickly run through these. We haven't actually got many questions left, which is great. Do you have a system in place that allows you to manage your cash flow? So, I guess, do you keep on top of your finances? What do you do with respect to that?
Pretty much. I like get onto my Excel spreadsheet, and literally every piece of money that comes in and goes out again, I'm jotting down. And I'm making sure that everything is accounted for. It's something I've kind of lacked in the past, where you know, I've kind of like let my accountant take care of everything, and I get a phone call when things are getting a little bit out of control. And I was like, I really want to be on top of this. So
Yeah, you need to be.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, you just need to make sure that, you know, what you're spending is all kept an eye on. Keep your receipts, and just make sure that you're making a good return on that investment. So if you're spending X amount, you want to be making at least that back or double. You know, that's the name of the game at the end of the day. You know, you want to make as much money as you can for spending as little as you can if you can get away with it. So yeah, that's my system. I literally keep an eye on everything.
Awesome. Final. So we've hit the end of the questions now. Guys, everyone watching this, I want you to use this session for motivation, because I promise you, all of you watching this are just as capable, if not more, maybe, as Simon. Simon said to me before, he's like, I've never used Excel. I barely use my laptop. And now the dude, you know, he's got 3 brands. He's nearly hitting 100K in sales. You know, he's developed into an awesome businessman. And I know that all of you are capable of this.
100%.
And I want you to write this down in your goals. Get on the Smasher sessions, because every single one of you that gets that 10K club, I'm inviting you on this show, and we're going to learn about your story, your motivations, what you've done, and we're all going to help each other to
100%. Absolutely, dude. Yeah, 100%.
Wicked. So yeah, we've got loads of comments here saying it's a great session. So thanks so much, Simon, for taking part in that. And guys, if you Simon's got Instagram. He's always posting little hammers in. He's always posting pictures of his trolley shoved full of hammers and goods. So on Instagram. Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, for joining in and for joining the session on your Sunday evenings. And I'll see you next time for another Smasher session.